Impact X.
IKNOWA is a one-stop shop for effectively property management and also for trades contractors. The key thing that we double down on is cost resilience. If you want to be secured and protected across every project that you do, use IKNOWA. Knowing who your subcontractors are is really key because you'll know what protections you can get. That's one of the things that we built the platform all around, is making protections equal for all parties. The contractors get access to said money by uploading proof of work. So you'll have a digital asset for every associated completion of works, which will also wrap in your insurance there. So if there's an issue, even during that project, or even let's say 2 or 3 years after, you've got some structural defects, some structural issues that need to be rectified, you've got everything to hand. So we really double down on that cost resilience for both parties. So when you're dealing with, in your scenario of building a new house, cost resilience is going to be absolutely key. You want to make sure that all that money is going towards the project at hand and it's not going to be lost or stolen. And there's just so much opportunity. This sector is not really digitized at all. Eric came down, just did one session around VC, and we saw his American background and his enthusiasm, and thought, you know what, it might just be good to connect. But yeah, I think for us it's been a collaboration between Impact and Google, and it helps that from day one where we met Impact, it was introduced to us by Google. Impact X have an incredible team facilitating growth and also working with their founders, especially us as a pre-seed investment. We found it really invaluable on shaping and creating some huge partnerships without having them to join us on that decision making table. Some of those partnerships for us, we had sort of scheduled for a year, 2 years down the line, but instead we're sort of seeing those partnerships being procured in 2 3 months. We're seeing at least a 3 to 4 fold acceleration on our timeline than what we initially had showcased. They do provide incredible support.
Can you briefly describe IKNOWA and explain why it's exciting?
I know as a property and construction platform, we to inform property owners and occupiers on their next best decision in order to save money and optimize value on their properties. On the construction angle that we've got is effectively a marketplace of trades. We mainly focus on the retrofitting sector. So you're looking at air source, energy efficiency, insulation, solar PV and EV charging. And we've got the best trades contractors will be expanding globally. It's a really exciting company, an even more exciting sector that we're operating within.
What's the backstory of IKNOWA?
My co-founder, Ala, he's had 2 decades on the tools, and he'd tell me there's no technology in this sector. I had a project that I was working on back when I was with IBM, and I realized this sector is not really digitized at all. And there's just so much opportunity in terms of delivering some tools that would actually work and that would actually be helpful. Some of the big issues that we could always see is payment delays for contractors. A lot of the contractors that we're speaking around, sub 10 people most of the time. And there'd be payment delays of 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And at the end of the day, it's either small families or individuals, and the knock-on effect is really severe if they're paid 60 days later. Not only does it impact the business's cash flow, it impacts families. So we really wanted to create a solution that would provide more cost resilience for both parties, because while trades are not getting paid, you've also got the other side where there's cowboy trades contractors within the sector that are running away with thousands of pounds. And the stories all too often in regards to someone's paid 10 grand on a Friday and they're asking for their trade contractor on the Monday, and they're nowhere to be seen, and they don't have any insurance or any policies that actually protect them. So one of the key things that we're to do is introduce new standards for this industry to protect both parties equally. The energy efficiency problem is massive. It's not just within the UK, it's on a global level. We've got some really exciting stuff for the new year around being able to upskill people that don't hold those qualifications of plumbing, heating, or electrical, and looking at how do we bring them into the industry as well, creating new green skill jobs and also improving people's just base skills. It's really exciting and it's really fulfilling, as well as also doing optimization for small businesses in terms of managing their resources better, whether that's capital or whether that's human. One of the most fulfilling things that we do is bringing new skills to people and unlocking new markets, which benefits us as a country and also as a world.
Why is IKNOWA the preferred choice for building a house or managing a construction project?
We're the first ones to be FCA approved for what we do, trying to showcase how we're bringing in and increasing the standards. Every project gets its own escrow, and that means that we can protect those monies and operate within our own workflow, which provides that resilience for both parties. And then also we provide a very simple Gantt chart. And we realize from our property owners, especially when you're dealing with homeowners, they want to have a really good overview on what's happening next. What does this overview look like for my projects? And everyone should be able to have that detail to hand. But also, if you are like me and you want to be peering over the trade contractor's shoulder, it doesn't give them the best working environment, right? So they're working in your property, which is their work environment. They want to feel like they can get, just and be focused on the job. And so by us creating that very simple sort of like Gantt chart, so you can see, okay, are we on track? Are we off track? And if we're off track, have that communication channel on why, and being able to raise those sort of questions. That very simple overview that we've been able to provide property owners, that we think is really advantageous for our property owners, but also we let trades build out their estimates in the same way that they normally do, from saying what are going to be the phases and also what's going to be the tasks. And our platform basically interprets that into a Gantt chart on their behalf, which they can then tweak. So we do around like 80% of the effort, and then they will do like the last 20% to make sure everything is perfect to what they want. So we're saving them a lot of time, but giving even more depth of detail, which again is something that we can provide new standards on and provide greater protections for, because there's a clear overview for every party.
Why does IKNOWA prioritize sustainability?
Yeah, so we've seen in this sector a lot of lip service be spoken around sustainable practices. A lot of it isn't tracked, and we wanted to make sure that we were tracking benefits. And one of the key reasons why we track what was the property's data before and then what is it after is so we can see, okay, what's been the environmental impact to getting a retrofit? Has it been tangible? Also, what was the quality of that property's environmental impacts beforehand? Because a lot of EPCs are incorrect, which could mean that someone's next best action of retrofitting that property isn't actually what that property requires. So we take the initial EPCs and we look at the accuracy of that with our own tool, in which we call Know Your Property Assessment. And then a property owner's next best action may be getting a new EPC based on someone that we think is at the quality level to be able to provide those insights. So a lot of EPCs will have assumed statuses, so like installation assumed, or this is assumed. And for contractors, we kind of need to know, is it there or is it not there, to provide the next best action. Because if you are installing, let's say, an air source heat pump and you don't have insulation, your bills could increase threefold. While you thinking, oh, I'm able to save money and this is good for the environment, it may leave you paying out of pocket quite a significant amount. So we, as a platform, want to make sure that everyone's utilizing good data, and there's very simple methods in how we can do that.
How has Impact X's investment helped IKNOWA, especially in digitalizing construction?
Impact X have an incredible team. From when you initially start, well, we spoke to one of their investment associates, and from then we were passed over to their chief investment officer. And what is great is, to this day, we still have a WhatsApp chat with Impact X, and both those people are still engaged. And for us, that continuity of people that we initially presented to still having interest in our organization and making it as flexible where we can just raise something quite freely on WhatsApp, saying, hey, can we have like a quick discussion on this tomorrow? Or, hey, can we speak about this and arrange something in the diary next week? Hey, we're working on a partnership deal. Can one of your team members be available to help support? We found just those levels of input to be really invaluable, and seeing how hands-on they are in terms of facilitating growth and also working with their founders, especially us as a sort of pre-seed investment. We found it really, really invaluable on shaping and creating some huge partnerships, which again will be released later into Q1, Q2 of next year. So, without having them to join us on that decision-making table, some of those partnerships for us, we had sort of scheduled for, a year, 2 years down the line, but instead we're sort of seeing those partnerships being procured in 2-3 months. We're seeing at least a 3 to 4 fold acceleration on our timeline than what we initially had showcased. They do provide incredible support.
Can you share a story where IKNOWA's technology made a significant difference for a client?
We've got 2,000 trades sitting on a backlog waiting to be upskilled. But it almost seemed like a bit of a golden ticket for the ones that were able to, get in really, really early. And we've been able to see some plumbing and heating engineers where we had a father and son go through the upskilling, and I believe they went on the same course together. But we've had some other people in adjacent courses where initially they didn't know how to get into effectively the air source sector. They heard about it, they were interested in renewable technologies, but they just didn't know, with my current qualifications, how do I move forward and how do I then get projects within this sector and offer my services. And it just seemed that the normal plumbing and heating sector, again, inundated with projects anyway. So, a lot of people were like, oh, the sector's already good for me. And what we've seen is for those people that have been able to upskill and move across into this sector and opening up this new market, we just get a ton of thank yous. And usually what we do is we send it across the team to really showcase with a lot of tools and technologies, especially in the technology sector which we're in. You'll usually see people saying, oh, it helped us become more efficient, or we've optimized and been able to save X amount on cost at the corporate level. But for us and for our trade contractors that use our platform, it means a lot more to them, because at the end of the day, as mentioned, it's either a sole trader where they're liable for everything that they do, or a limited company where it's very small and it's a family run organization, and being able to unlock a new market. We guide them to joining a consumer code and then also getting into the sector. That sort of hands-on, tailored, personalized journey that we have from the platform provides them a really key insight on, okay, great, this is what I'm doing now. My next best action is this. And also in terms of the cost for this is how much it's going to cost. There's not that much transparency within the sector on costing. And the fact that we try and present our costs first gives everyone a really nice level to go forward from. So yeah, we still get a lot of trades contacting us and thanking us for the work in which they've been able to get, and also providing just a really transparent journey to the sector. So yeah, for us, that whole sustainability point isn't just lip service. We are really trying to make a really big difference, and we're starting with the UK, but we're excited about later down the line about expanding this overseas.
How has the collaboration with Impact X and Google enhanced IKNOWA's use of technology and AI for a competitive edge?
Impact X's investment has been well received from our end and from our team. We've seen what Impact X has done in terms of for other associated industries. We do welcome experience that their team brings in with who some of their founding partners are, but also we have a Google partnership. We're part of the Google Black Founders Fund. As you guys may know, we were part of their first fund when they did it for Europe, one of their first select 30 countries across Europe, mixed with the Google technical knowledge that we have in the team, and mixed with Impact X's team, where they have some great CTOs which are aligned to them. There's a great sort of combination of minds from the trade sector and technology, especially overlapping the two and understanding those key policy decision-making items from a fintech and insurtech approach that we're able to bring to the forefront. So for us, it's a combination of making sure that we're able to leverage Impact's experience in finance and insurance, able to leverage their background in technology, and also straddling that with our trades knowledge as well. And we believe that together we'll be able to create something really, really unique and really special.
What advice do you have for young entrepreneurs, particularly those from underrepresented backgrounds?
Yeah, you'll hear a lot of no's, a lot of reasons why you shouldn't do anything. With that, you've got to effectively understand where it's coming from, the lens that the other person's maybe giving you that information from. Maybe they've tried something similar and had a bad experience. Maybe they've operated within a particular sector, and if you just take that on board without asking a question, a follow-up question, it may just be an understood thing from that industry, and no one's really sort of like tested out that sort of thesis behind it. And so definitely when you do hear no's and pushbacks, try and understand the lens in which you're hearing it from and the perspective, and then look at, is this something that's going to, knock me back, or is this something that I can push forward on? And have I found a unique opportunity? I think with a lot of interesting young entrepreneurs that I see and that, we get connected to in our whole founders network, a lot of people, sometimes they don't do, as detailed market research in terms of the problem. And one of the things that I think you'll usually see is if there's a problem and you actually have a real solution for it, and you're solving in some scenarios a real world problem like what we're doing, you'll get a lot of champions that will sort of like rise to your defense, and that will also give you great industry experience and knowledge, which you may not actually have. You may be really energetic and really passionate about a particular problem and solving it, but you may lack 30-40 years of industry domain knowledge, or you may lack, you know, the first 100 people to be able to speak to your idea about, right? So a lot of people also talk about, you know, the quality of that market research. You know, have you been giving closed questions where the answers are more weighted towards yes, which will make you feel better? Don't do that. It's best to get, you know, the raw feedback from people and get their honest feedback. And I think as sooner that you're able to hear people's honest feedback is the sooner you're able to deal with it head on to actually solve the problems that people want you to be able to solve. So don't shy away from it as much as it's easy to shy away from those problems. Try and tackle it as much as you can head on, and also connect with other founders within the industry, because a lot of the stumbling blocks that you'll come across, someone's already passed them. So, and that's one of the things that we've learned is we have sometimes challenges and we go towards some of our angel investors. We go to reach out to impact, and we reach out to other founders, and usually amongst everyone, they're like, oh yeah, this is how I came across this issue and this is what we did. And everyone's got their own unique story, which I find really amazing. And you always get like 2 or 3 different opposing options and you get to pick one, right? Or you get to create your own path. And that's one of the really exciting things, but it comes with building those sorts of relationships. And again, to my last point about being resilient, yeah, those 2 things will really help you move forward.
Impact X.